K257CD. EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM. Wherever you go, take us along. Listen to our live stream on our free Fanatic app. Download it today.
It's the weekend!
Warriors! Warriors! Come on to play!
Yeah! Here we go!
You're right. Good NFL Sunday morning, everybody. We're broadcasting live from the Weekend Warriors studios in beautiful Peoria, Arizona. I'm Ralph Romano, alongside my partner in crime, the legend, Neil Lynch. And we have the legendary Philip Amron in the control room. And this is the Weekend Warriors Football Sunday edition, number 13.
Lucky number 13.
13
Hey,
already.
if you're listening on the old radio, on your transistor radio in your parents' basement, or
Yeah.
wherever you're listening to
Get
your
a
radio.
life.
Well, that's true too, that. But hey, get involved in the show. Text us on the Fanatic text line. That's 888-368-1580. Tell us how you're doing. Tell us what you're looking forward to this week, and tell us what you thought of the lovely banquet of games we had on Thanksgiving. Also, too, if you're following us, by the way, in case you didn't know this, we are also broadcasting live on video, so you can see our beautiful faces on X, YouTube, and Instagram. So if you want to put a comment there on those platforms, we'll respond to those as well. We just want you to get involved. That's all.
Yeah, get involved.
Get involved.
Phil, get involved.
Do it, Phil.
Involve yourself. Get into the show.
There you go.
So
How's everybody doing this morning?
Well, you know, today is going to be a 2-hour tour as
2-hour
opposed
tour.
to our 90-minute tour. So I'm feeling pretty good. Had a good Thanksgiving. How was your Thanksgiving, by the way, Ralph?
It was okay.
It was all right. It was all right. It was all right.
It was good.
Well, we know what Phil did for Thanksgiving.
No, tell us, Phil. What did you do for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I don't think we told this on air. I went to go have Thanksgiving with my sisters, and per them and their friends of what they wanted to do, we dressed up a la Hogwarts, a la Harry Potter. We all dressed up as our favorite wanded friends and family. And
You're a wizard, Harry.
yeah, Dumbledore was incredible, although did not eat the turkey with the full regalia, with the beard and everything else. But she was great.
Please tell me there's pictures.
There are pictures. Will they make the light of day, or in your little hands? No, they will
Come
not.
on, they could be on social.
Absolutely not.
That'd be fantastic.
Absolutely not. I was a werewolf, as I think it would make sense. See, there we go. I knew I'd get Ralph. I was a werewolf.
With that beard, you have to be.
Of course. No, that was my girlfriend. Excellent draft pick. That's where it's like the 6th-round gem where you're like, that makes so much sense. So excellent. Shout out to my girlfriend for thinking of that. And but yeah, it was a fantastic day, including the food coma.
All
Yes,
right.
the food coma is always the best part.
She thought of that, huh?
She did, honestly.
Okay. That's good. Good.
No judgment from this side over here, I can assure you. Ralph,
yeah, no.
Ralph is not judging you
I'm
at
purely
all.
judging.
There is a judgment-free zone and a fully judgment zone. It's both sides. I can feel it.
Absolutely. 100%.
All right.
All right.
With that said, so let's start where we always now. You know, you guys gave me stuff last week. We were doing this about soap opera music
Oh, yes, we
to
were.
get us going. So with that, we put together a little opening for our next for our first segment. So Phil, go ahead and play it.
Like sands through the hourglass,
God.
so are the games of last week.
Was that Scott Cohen? Who was that?
That's my son.
Oh.
that's- I could hear the familial tone. I could hear the Romano tone. Yes, it was great. Excellent voiceover.
For those of you under 60, I'll have to explain that. That was the introduction to a famous soap opera called Days of Our Lives.
Yes.
But we have repurposed it. We've remixed it. We've sampled it, if you will, for our purpose. So the week that was, what do you
week
think?
that
So
was.
I mean, obviously, the first thing we have to talk about is that finally, for the first time in the history of their storied franchise, the Chicago Bears fired a head coach in the middle of a season. And I couldn't think of a more worthy recipient of that honor than Eberflus.
Well, but hold on, Neil. Hold on now. You are getting ahead of yourself. That was not the week that was. That is still part of this current week. Last week, they only lost by 3 points to the Vikings.
I am so excited to talk about it. I wanted to talk about it right now.
That's why. Yes, absolutely. And that wasn't the game that got him fired. It was after Thanksgiving that he got fired. But the Vikings loss in overtime, man, it's finding new and entertaining ways to lose. And the Bears, they keep going to 3 points. They're like just that close. That is the ultimate recipe of if you want to lose, if you want to up your draft pick, and you want to really build out your franchise, that is how you do it. 3 points, make it entertaining, fool your fan base into thinking that you have a chance, and at the end of the game, still lose. Amen, guys. Amen.
So here's a question. If the Chiefs are the worst 11-1 team currently, even last week 10-1. They're the worst winning team in football. Could you also make the counter argument that the Bears are the best losing team?
I'd have to go through and see all the losing teams. I mean, they're certainly better than the Browns. They're certainly better than the Bears and Colts. Who won that? I think the Bears won that, yeah, so that makes sense because they did have a head-to-head. Buccaneers, no. See, that's where it is. The Buccaneers, that's where the litmus test fails right there. The Buccaneers are much better than the Bears. But you had me until the Buccaneers when I was going through.
So it seems like there is a bit of a synergy because
49ers too. 49ers are 5-6 as well, but it's pretty close. You're in a top 3 franchise right there.
Oh, hang on.
Real quick.
Ralph has something to say.
Uh-oh.
No, just Blissful Hayes is on the chat, and he says, "Good morning, Ralph, Neil, and Philip. Uber frustrated, laughing. What is it? Uber flustered, laughing all the way to the bank. Uber flustered.
Oh,
laughing all the way to the bank.
Eberflus.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Eberflus laughing all the way to the bank.
Bears fans are happy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like we can't. I know we're talking about week 12, but I'm sorry. That is such a glorious, wonderful thing to happen. And it's like, again, knowing the Bears' futility and how I called it at the beginning of the season that they were going to do something to ruin Caleb Williams' debut, and they were in the process of doing it, but thankfully more sane people have prevailed. I don't know. I mean, at some point, when you have the Monday morning press conference and you act like nothing happened, you're a complete idiot. I'm sorry. I mean, there are people who know nothing about football who were questioning his decisions at the end of that game, and so it was inevitable. And the fact that he was so clueless. In fact, I saw a very funny meme that someone posted: an empty Detroit Lions stadium, and there's Matt Eberflus standing all by himself on the sideline, and the caption said, "Eberflus is still waiting to use his timeout." So.
You jumped ahead to week 13.
I know. I couldn't help it.
Neil is just so gung-ho ready
I'm
to talk
excited,
about Eberflus getting fired.
I can say that because there were some fantastic games.
Yeah.
Last
well,
week.
Another team that has played twice within in the span of last we talked is the Cowboys. They played the Commanders last week in week 13. And guys,
that was
if you thought special teams was ever underrated, if you thought, man, that is the least entertaining third of football that you can think of, this game is for you. In a game that ended at the bell of the halftime whistle at 3-3? Yeah, 3-3 at halftime. My God, ended up being a score of 34-26 because of just the worst special teams plays plural in history. Like, that is a game that you can, as a coach, you say thank you if you're on the other team, either the Cowboys or the rest of the league, because you can say thank you. I can now show this to my team and show the importance and the necessity that comes from being in special teams and how you can mess up a game 7 times to Sunday and give the Cowboys a game that they should and had no right winning, because we are going to mess up on every aspect, whether that's a PAT, whether that's a field goal, whether that's an onside kick, whether that's a getting a Hail Mary that was a complete rabbit out the hat. My God, guys, have you ever seen a special team snafu quite like this?
I mean, I have, but this is probably the most significant
recent
one of the season for sure. Yeah, I thought they had their chance. They had them where they wanted them. I sound like Denny Green on the Cardinals.
They are who we thought they were.
We had them where we wanted them. We let them get away. So.
There's like 4 times. It wasn't even just the once. There was 4 times that you can think of and look at for special teams just completely giving away a game that the Commanders now at 7-5 with 3 straight losses to start the season at 7-2. This could honestly now their spot in the playoffs is very, very, very much in jeopardy after an unexcusable loss.
I'm okay with it.
What? Ralph, you just want chaos. I respect that, but I also think that that's so
He
rude.
wants Caleb, not chaos.
Speaking of chaos,
Here we go.
the Tennessee Titans.
You had a shot, Ralph.
I know
You
I had a shot and you won. Now,
this is why.
I went with you by confusion and then realized I was confused.
Tennessee
Yes,
Tuxedos.
I tried to whistle you in there, Ralph. I tried to make sure and hold your hand and say, "Come here. It's all right. It's all right. I'm here to help make sure that you're going the right direction." And you slapped my hand away.
I did. I slapped
you
it.
bit the hand that
I did
I
bite
was
you.
trying to feed you. And look, this is what's messed up in the standings: is that wins like the Tennessee Titans only count for 1 point, just as much as Neil gets for picking against his beloved Packers every week. Those points are not the same. That is a point that should be worth 17 points on its own for picking the Tennessee Titans, and I only get 1. Damn it! I only got 1.
That's it. You got 1.
But it's a good one.
I'm having a hard time feeling sorry for you, but whatever.
One last thing in the past, and then we're gonna. I know we want to talk about the Bears real quick. So, the Chiefs, and I'm going to talk past and present.
I was
What,
gonna
is
say,
that
which-
the worst 11-1 team you've ever seen?
Yes.
No,
Yes,
it's not.
Worst.
Who's the worst?
Well, 11-1 specifically, I don't know, but I'm still old enough to remember the 2020 Steelers, who started out 12-0 with Ben
That's true.
fading bumper, and that was an awful team. That team had a tremendous defense, kind of like the Chiefs, even though they haven't done it the last 2 weeks. But had a failing Roethlisberger that had a very, very, very limited ceiling, and that was a far more fraudulent 12-0 team than this 11-1 Chiefs team is. And look, here's the thing. The Chiefs team have the capability, kind of like the Steelers, to play any team and win by 3 in both a positive and negative way. You take the NFL's best, whether you want to put that against the Lions, whether you want to put that against the Eagles, whether or not you want to put that against the Bills. They have the ability to win or lose to them by 3, same as the Panthers, same as the Titans, same as the Texans. They have the ability to win or lose against those teams by 3 as well.
But
okay,
hold on. I gotta go there. But the way they won Thursday.
You mean with the the Raiders shanking 4 3 field goals?
That's just ridiculous.
Yes. I'm sorry. I am so sorry that I am going to be the guy to defend greatness here with Patrick Mahomes. Because trust me, as a Broncos fan, it's not exactly like I'm relishing in this. Like I'm not the guy who's like loving the fact that I'm having to stare death down in the face for the next 10 plus years still, because Patrick Mahomes is still like just now entering his prime as a quarterback, because now we're going to 50 apparently. Thank you, Tom Brady. But speaking of Tom Brady, I'm old enough to remember Tom Brady entering the league and showing everybody and winning and time after again, making me look like a fool when I said, no, he's a system quarterback. No, he's just a product of Bill Belichick. And then eventually, after a point in time, I'm like, you know what? I can't deny greatness anymore. I can't deny the fact that, well, it just so happens to end up that the Patriots win every time because they're the most prepared team. I can't help the fact that they have a great coach that buoys the quarterback's performance. I can't help it that Patrick Mahomes, whenever he needs that first down, whenever he needs that touchdown, whenever he needs that 2-point conversion, they just get it. I can't help it. Okay. So, I mean, yes, it's not pretty, but I'll take the win, and so will they, and they'll clinch their playoff spot any way that they can.
They will not go to the Super Bowl this year. Anyway, I'm just going to say it. They're not. It's not going to happen.
I agree.
This year.
AFC Championship.
They're not the best team in the AFC this year. They're just not. I don't care what their record is. They're not the best team.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's 2
Vegas
would disagree.
There's 2 teams better than them.
Who? The Bills and Ravens?
Exactly.
The Ravens are real shaky, man. Real
Bills
shaky.
Bills
beat them.
shaky.
I mean, it's hard to argue against that.
Okay, so let's catch up real quick on the text line. We'll talk about the Seahawks Cardinal game as we talk about the Cardinal game after the break.
Fantastic.
Let's see here. So we've got on chat. Okay, so Blissful Hayes, at least Uberflus saved his timeout, which is true.
You can use it next week.
And then he goes into the
Wait a
Cardinal.
second.
Yeah, he has a text toward the Cardinal game, which we'll attack them. But it says, "Hey Ralph, why didn't Kyler Murray run after Kobe Bryant after the interception? That's not a good leader." I agree with you 100%, and we'll touch more on that when we come after the break. But I agree with you. And we have some text on the text line I'd like to get to real quick. So this is from 4705. Hey guys, love the show, especially since the addition of Phil. Interesting. I'm going to cancel this.
God bless him.
So do we think the Bears have a chance this late in the season?
No.
Well, I mean, guess what? I mean, do you mean a chance for the number 1 overall pick? Absolutely.
I think they mean a chance for the playoffs.
And no, they're too far. Even within their own division, they still have far too many division games in what is the best division in all of football. There's no chance that they have a chance for the playoffs, just because they've dug themselves too big of a hole. Had they started out with not Shane Waldron as offensive coordinator, maybe they could have won some of those games that they really, really, really should have earlier in the year. And this skid that they're on wouldn't look so bad, but they're too far back.
I agree. What do you think, Neil?
I totally agree. I think I think basically, as of right now, there's really, I don't see a reasonable path for, and they're in the same boat as the Saints and the Cowboys and the Panthers, and the Giants have been eliminated since week 1. You want to talk about disappointment? You know how forward I was looking to seeing Tommy DeVito get out there and Tommy Cutlets?
I told you he wouldn't play.
Turns out he gets hurt, and then Baker Mayfield does it to the crowd. I thought that was, it is what it is. Yep. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. But yeah, the Bears don't have a chance.
You live by the cannoli, you die by the cannoli.
Oh. I've been told that more than once. Okay,
you have.
And when cannoli, I'm not going to go there. Forget it. I was going to go somewhere that I just shouldn't go. Anyway, another text. So, good morning. This is from Rich out in L.A. How you doing, Rich? Good morning, guys. I look forward to your show every week. Last week, Scott the King was very negative towards Jalen Waddle. I know it was only the Patriots, but he had a monster of a game. So please have Atticus use his Darth Vader voice and tell him this. I find lack of faith in Jalen Waddle disturbing.
8 receptions for 144 yards and a tutty last week.
I'm using my loyal listener card. Don't be too harsh on my Dolphins, please. Major props to Phil for picking the Titans over the Texans. Kudos to him. Sincerely, Rich, the bitter Dolphins fan.
I find your lack of faith in Taylor Waddle disturbing.
There you go.
Actually, that sounded like Sean Connery.
You know what? Because he was so negative toward him last week, we didn't allow him on this week. That's not true. He's at the Jets Seattle game. He's in the press box today, but he's not going to be on today. So
why not? Is he? Are we not important enough to him?
I guess the NFL is more important.
Who else plays intro music? Oh, the Daily Blender does now because of you. Thanks a lot. Now we're not special.
We got another text on the text line from Notorious J.O.B. When the Chiefs need it, they will have it. They are an apex predator waiting to pounce. Like your mom. What is that? what is that? Come on, Notorious.
That's not true. My mom was not an apex predator. That's not true.
Look, you can hate on greatness. I've fallen for too many times for the banana in the tailpipe that was the Patriots, and there's far too many similarities to this team to disagree with it. I mean, the back-to-back defending Super Bowl champions at 11-1. I'm sorry. I'm going to fall for greatness time and time again, rather than bemoan the fact that they did it again.
Yes, no moaning on the show. Okay, let's go to we have a break. We're up against the break. When we come back, we'll get into the Cardinals game this week against the Vikings. That should be a very interesting one to talk about. This is the Weekend Warriors Football Sunday right here on 1580, The Fanatic.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Live and local.
It's fall football season, and Kasai Japanese Steakhouse is doubling down, now with 2 Valley locations. When it comes to Asian cuisine, no one does it better and more authentic than Kasai, where talented Teppan chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse isn't just dinner, it's dinnertainment. A memorable dining experience where a delicious 7-course meal is prepared right at your table with flair. It's a perfect choice for celebrations, date nights, or a night on the town. Choose from over 30 different items and combinations of teppanyaki, Asian fusion, and innovative sushi. Happy Hour is always on fire and offered daily with specials on their Asian-inspired comfort food like Korean steak tacos, Mongolian barbecue ribs, and signature Wagyu beef sliders. Always a memorable dinner, or catch the game and a bite at the bar. At Kasai, now at 2 locations, Scottsdale Road in Thunderbird and in Peoria at the 101 in Northern. Go to KasaiTeppan.com, that's Kasai Teppan.com, or search Kasai on your mobile phone.
Let's face it, winter can be a hard season. It's cold pretty much all the time. Blizzard. You have to shovel. Another blizzard. You slip on ice. But you know what makes winter suck a little less? Getting a free phone. Join Cricket Nation and get a free Samsung Galaxy A15 5G. Ooh, ouch. Welcome to enjoying more. Welcome to Cricket Nation. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. Must open a new line on the $60 unlimited plan. First month service charge and tax due at sale. Fees, terms, and other restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
The GCU men's basketball squad is coming off their winningest season in 35 years, their third trip to the NCAA tournament in 4 years, and their first ever NCAA tournament victory. Returning 4 of their 5 starters in Ray Harrison, Colin Moore, Duke Brennan, and reigning WAC Player of the Year Tyon Grant Foster, the Lopes look to defend their WAC titles and make a run to the Sweet 16. With a non-conference slate including Stanford, Georgia, and crosstown rival Arizona State, you won't want to miss a moment of the action. So join me, Michael Potter, and Lopes insider Paul Coro all season long right here on the home of the Lopes, 1580 The Fanatic. Lopes up.
Sports bettors, we've all been there. You have a live bet lined up, you check the odds one more time, place the bet only to see the bet delayed by the spinny wheel, line move, and your bet rejected. My name's Alex Kane, and I'm the founder and CEO of SportTrade, Arizona's newest sports betting app. At the core of the SportTrade offering is our probability-based odds. In other words, the Cardinals may be offered at 55% odds to win, a lot simpler than minus 125. Place your bet at 55% odds, and as your win probability changes, so does the value of your bet, giving you the ability to cash out with total control. And the best part, no spinning wheels. Live bets on SportTrade are instantly accepted. Download SportTrade on your iPhone today and use code 1580 to earn 10% cash back on every bet in your first week. Terms apply.
SportTrade is regulated by the Arizona Department of Gaming. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
The most important event in sports could happen at any time.
Like right now.
Or right now. Or even
now.
Don't miss history. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or at 1580thefanatic.com.
Baby, I'm howling for you.
You're live.
It's the Weekend Warriors on 1580, The Fanatic.
Hey, a lot of you are joining in today, and that's fantastic. We want more listener interaction. Hit us up on the Fanatic text line at 888-368-1580, or hit us up in the comment section on our live streaming feeds on X, YouTube, and Instagram.
And if you want to see how sexy our producer is, you need to go on the streams and take a look at it.
Oh my, yes. We keep talking about his luscious locks of hair. You got to see this for yourself, man.
It's not really us. It's more so Neil. Neil, like there's and this is off air. This is on air. This is in between air. Like every version is just I have to keep looking and turning around whenever I go shopping at Sam's Club because I'm like, is Neil there? Because I just I feel the presence. It's like that Sting song. Everywhere you are, I'm looking for you and all that stuff. It's a lot, Neil, but I love it.
Is that the Temu version of that song?
Yeah, yeah.
Everywhere you are, I'll be looking at you. Anyway.
So speaking of Neil,
oh god,
we got Notorious J.O.B. back on the text line saying, "Tell Neil I'm a listener specifically to him." Well, I'm not sure how to take that.
Yeah, at your own peril. My goodness.
Okay. I've got a fan. I've got one.
He's got a stalker.
It's his only fan.
Wah.
So let's go back. So as we're getting ready to talk about the Cardinal game today, I want to go address Blissful Hayes' chat because it's a great question. I'll say it. Hey, Ralph, why didn't Kyler Murray run after Kobe Bryant after the interception? That's not a good leader. I agree with him. I mean, he had the opportunity to try to go after him. He basically just pouted and watched. And if you watch that game, I mean, that was one of the most critical plays of the entire game. And he didn't do what he was supposed to do. Just as a player, forget as a leader, just as a player, he should have done that. What do you guys think?
So I understand that it's very easy on this particular show for at least two of us to bash on Kyler Murray all the time. Okay. I mean, and there are so many reasons that we love to do it too. So it's not like it's an unusual thing. However, in this case, I find it difficult to get too ramped up about one incident of a player losing focus, getting ticked off, whatever.
But it's one of many.
They're human. It's bound to happen. Now, if it's one of many,
but it is.
Now we're talking a pattern. So if it's a pattern,
it's been a pattern.
Then it's like, well, I mean, you have to start thinking of the obvious issues, right? Is he playing too much Call of Duty this week, right? Like
the obvious issues.
Is you have to look at all the.
That is the most obvious issue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, am I wrong? I mean,
he's not wrong.
Did he put enough hours of independent studying this week? That's what I want to know. Anyway, if it's a trend, I mean, again, I tend to be a little more gracious about this stuff, but yeah, if it's happened more than once, especially this season, that's not it. That's you're getting paid way too much money to sit and pout after things don't go your way. I mean, I have a 19-year-old daughter who does that for free. I don't need to pay you $50 billion to do it.
I fall more in line of, look, I think it's the best look? No. But in a 17 game season that we now have, and with your quarterback being priced at what he is, being the most valuable player both financially and of course to the team that he is, while yes, I think one should set an example, when you're talking about Kyler Murray, who's small in stature, as we all have made fun of him time and time again, even though he is fast, I think that that's one of those things where I would much rather ensure for every possible scenario that he does not get hurt, even in a bad-looking interception, because this is not Josh Allen we're talking about. Josh Allen could probably, if he throws a bad interception, track down, push somebody off, and also take a hit, right? We're not talking about Jalen Hurts, who's also yoked, and again, same scenario. This is somebody who is smaller, more akin to like Bryce Young, who we're worried is going to get hurt, more akin to, I don't know, Joe Burrow, I guess, where we wouldn't have this discussion with Joe Burrow. We would not have this discussion with Kirk Cousins, mostly because they simply could not do it. Like, as soon as they throw an interception, they're walking off the field, and most people don't understand. Like, it's because if they were to even start jogging, they'd start jogging, and by the time that they got to them, Kobe's already returned for a touchdown. Yeah. So I think it's partly because he could. People have a problem with it. But I'd much rather him not become a mobile target for the defense to then tee up just for free and just ensure that, yes, he made a mistake, but at least he's living to fight another down, another play, another everything else. I'd much rather him be safe and have that investment into your future and future games safe rather than risk getting injured on just a random interception that right. really wouldn't have mattered in the grand scheme of things.
Are you saying he's fragile?
I'm not saying
I think that's Italian. Anyway.
Well, I'm with Blissful Hayes on this one. I just feel the guy's not a leader. He hasn't been a leader since day one. I'm going to continue to say that until he goes away, which he needs to go away. He's just not a good quarterback. I've said it a million times. I'm going to keep saying it. The Cardinals will be nothing with him at quarterback. They don't have a chance. He's not that guy. So
well, and that's big talk for a team that's first in the division right now.
But it has nothing to do with that. I mean, it's just he's not that guy, and he's not in first. They're in second.
Oh, okay, I lied.
Yeah, they are second, but they have the same record, so it's right now.
Oh, well, after today they won't. But anyway,
that's true. Yeah, they were in second.
So let's go into the game. So we have the Cardinals at 6-5, currently in second place, facing the Minnesota Vikings that are 9-2. This is over at US Bank Stadium in sunny Minneapolis. Check my odds here. I have the Vikings. Last time I checked, were favored by 3.5 points.
Correctamundo.
Over-under is at 45.
44.5 currently.
Okay, so
went down just a smidge.
This is an interesting matchup for the Cardinals coming off that pretty big loss. I mean, all fairness, there was a good game last week against the Seahawks. Seahawks just defensively outclassed the Cardinals, but the Cardinals' defense played really well too, I thought.
Yes.
I'll give them a lot of credit for the way they played, but Seattle's defense played that much better. And, Seattle was able to pull out an offensive touchdown as well. The Cardinals did not see the end zone. So they're coming off that very poor offensive showing against a defense that is up and down. I think more up on the front seven, down in the back. So he could have opportunities today. So, Neil, what do you say to this game?
Here's what I say to this game is I say, first of all, the weather is not going to be a factor because even though the high is going to be 21 degrees in Minneapolis, they play in beautiful US Bank Stadium.
It's nice.
Which is probably one of the nicer pro sports stadiums I've ever been to.
Yep.
It's a lovely place. If you ever get, dome it used to be a dome. It's not anymore. That thing, the Metrodome is atrocious. But if you ever get a chance to go watch a game at US Bank Stadium with watch the Vikings play whomever, I would recommend it. It's a good time. Anyway, to the game itself, yes, the Cardinals had a chance to make a statement last week, and they weren't able to do it. So they've lost a little momentum, and they're coming up against, and like you said, I do agree, they are an up-and-down defense, but ultimately I think they're going to rise to the occasion because the Vikings they're fighting for their playoff lives ish, sort of. I mean, they're technically second in the division, I think. And correct me if I'm wrong.
They are.
Okay,
9-2
I was right
to
on
the
that
Detroit,
one.
11-1.
Yeah. So they're in a very competitive division. So the Vikings have all the motivation to stay ahead of, well, at this point, it's the Packers. So I think that they're going to be up for this game. I think Kevin O'Connell is the superior coach. I think he's going to have a great scheme. I think that it will be a close game-ish, but I do think that the Vikings will prevail in this one. I just think it's a case. I think the Vikings defense is going to stop Kyler Murray because they pretty much know that's what he's about. And so, yeah, they're going to scheme for it. They might get lucky a few times, get a couple of big plays, but ultimately, I see a bend don't break defense. I like that term. And so I think to me I don't see how the Cardinals can win this game.
What do you think, Phil?
Well, you say you don't see how they can win. I'll tell you how. And it comes in the form of who Tommy Cutlets and who Drew Lock.
Snipers?
No,
okay,
but that is another way. You're right. That's one that nobody sees coming.
There's two ways.
There's two ways, yes. Besides the one that nobody wants to talk about. It comes in the form of where Tommy Cutlets came into prominence, where Drew Lock came into prominence. Daniel Jones came in and signed to the Vikings practice squad. Now, why, one might ask, would he do that if he had starting jobs available to him elsewhere? And we've seen the offensive production for the for the Minnesota Vikings slowly dip as the season has worn on. Now, I don't know if Sam Darnold's hurt. I don't know if he's just turning into the pumpkin that we all assumed that he was going into the season. I don't know which it is, but either way, Justin Jefferson has surely not been as effective. Aaron Jones is in and out of the lineup, as you would know, Neil, due to his injuries.
Yes.
As a former Packer that he is.
Yes.
I think that the offense will allow the other side's offense, this being the Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray and company, to stay in this game, even if it's not truly, even though it might feel the Minnesota Vikings have control score-wise, it will always be in the balance. And I think it's because the Minnesota Vikings are not humming on offense as much as you would hope or think. Now, is Kevin O'Connell going to be the one to drop the perfect plays on offense because he's that good, as he's that much of a savant? I believe so. But if we're talking about coaching specifically on the other side where I think it'll be most effective, I think that the Vikings defense is tremendously effective at drawing up blitzes, at creating pressure, and Kyler Murray will be under pressure for the entire game. Look, the Arizona Cardinals are one of those teams that as soon as you put expectations on them, they wither, and as soon as you have none of them on them, they start to rise and shine because they're performing in darkness. But that being said, I think, Neil, you were spot on. At 9-2, one loss puts them even with the Green Bay Packers at third in the division, and a win still keeps them at a good pace to where the loser between the Vikings and the Lions slips from the number one overall seed to possibly the second overall seed to all the way down to the number one wild card team, and that difference is just so drastic and keeps all those teams motivated. I have to go with the Minnesota Vikings here, even though I am an Arizona Cardinals beloved feature of the entire fan base because I'm the one who believed in them when no one else did.
Oh boy!
Wow, wow, that's some.
Oh boy,
that's some big words right there.
Did
you read a dictionary this morning? I'm impressed.
I did. I certainly did.
Wow.
So,
thesaurus.
I'm with Phil on the fact that why did you sign Daniel Jones? Is that an insurance policy?
It's a couple of things. It's an insurance policy. It's also to motivate Sam Darnold.
But that's really bad insurance.
Yeah, but
right?
Okay. So a guy like Kevin O'Connell, who has been able to make Sam Darnold look good, do you think that maybe he sees a reclamation project?
Well, I think you have to. Right?
What is Sam Darnold? Is he not a reclamation project himself?
Oh, he sees another one. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. You're right. He sees another one. I think now it's like that person who's attracted to strays and picks them up and grooms
talking
them.
About
and
girlfriends and boyfriends,
what
or
are we talking about here? Dogs or?
So
I'm a little concerned at this point right now.
So we're just gonna keep talking here because y'all are being mean spirited to me.
No, because you're kind of going out there.
You aren't being a blessing right now. Anyway, he likes to pick up. He picks up, used cars off the lot.
No, it's cars.
Shines them up.
That was a smart way to go.
I can't win for losing. So it's a used car. He buys it. He polishes it. He fixes it up, and then he sells it for twice the value.
What's in the trunk?
Well, it's not.
Or who's in the trunk?
It's not what's in the trunk. It's what could be in the trunk.
Okay.
That's
anyway,
a whole different story.
A lot of junk in that trunk.
Yeah.
Let me go back. So I'm confused about why he did that. I get it's insurance policy. I think it's a really poor insurance policy because Daniel Jones is a disaster. Reclamation project is probably an understatement. But anyway, is Sam Darnold hurt? Is something going on with Darnold? Because he's not that he's playing bad, because he's not. He's playing good ball within himself, but he's not, in my opinion, what he was the first 5 weeks of the season.
He's not.
No, absolutely correct.
Part of that, too, let's be honest, people are just figuring him out.
Well,
Defense
that
is
is part
figuring
of
him
it.
out, right?
That's part of it.
And the other thing, too, is that from their perspective, who do you have as your backup? Nick Mullins? Oh, yeah. That strikes fear in the hearts of nobody.
I'd put Nick Mullins before I put Daniel Jones. I would.
See, I have this hunch that Daniel Jones, I don't know.
I have this hunch he'll be selling insurance
I
next
want to
year.
believe he's going to be doing nationwide commercials with Peyton Manning.
I don't think he'll be on the commercial. He'll just be selling it.
Just be selling it.
Hey, you saw that commercial with
He'll be
Peyton? Here I
rapping.
am. Anyway.
He's more likely to be in a reenactment of trains, planes, and automobiles. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Anyway.
So, but the good thing about the Vikings, so they're gonna get their points. The good thing about the Vikings is their defense, in my opinion, because what they're gonna do, and Phil touched on this, is the Vikings are very good at putting pressure on the quarterback. That's what they do, right? That's the key to them in this game. We talked about this last week. What did I say? I said that if the Seahawks pressure, which I think they will, Kyler Murray, and stop the run game, which they did. I think Connor had 9 yards against the Seahawks. If you do those things, you leave it to Murray to make something happen. And when you leave it to Murray to make a decision, especially under pressure, he makes really bad mistakes. Hence, Kobe Bryant pick 6. Hence, a lot of bad passes last week. I see the same thing happening for the Cardinals that happened last week, happening this week against the Vikings. I think Murray will have a lot of pressure on him. I think he'll make mistakes. The Vikings defense will take advantage of that, and they'll win this game. I don't think it's going to be that close, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. But I think they win by 7-8 points. I think the Vikings take this game, and the Cardinals start going off the rails a little bit after 2 straight losses. Having to meet Seattle again next week in Arizona, and Seattle's on a definite high right now. So, but anyway, I see the Vikings taking this game as well. So all 3 of us are taking the Vikings.
That is correct.
That's correct. Yeah.
Wow, we finally agree on something.
We agree on a lot of things.
Really.
Yeah, there's junk in the trunk. I agree with
although
Neil.
although I don't agree that Italians are not white people.
That came out of left field, dude. Wow.
I was just thinking of something I couldn't think. I was at some point. I'm trying to work at my Patrick Mahomes impersonation, which is basically Kermit the Frog. Hi-ho, thank you, Phil, for being my greatest advocate there. Oh, anyway.
I like how he became a Packer mid-sentence there, too. It's Kermit the Packer.
You betcha there, don't you know? Anyway.
We do have a text on the text line from Rich. It says,
do we know?
If the Bears organization were smart, which we know they are not, they'd fill up a Brinks truck with cash and they'd drive it over to Bill Belichick's house.
Interesting.
Yeah, actually,
that is interesting.
So the name that I have sorry, Phil, the name that I've heard in addition to that is Ben Johnson.
I've heard that and some others too. Yeah, Ben Johnson makes a lot of sense.
Well, I don't think that the Bears are necessarily stupid. I think they could be. Let's not rule that out. But I do know for what they are is that the Bears fan base is very upset. Is just how cheap they are. So when you say backing up the Brinks truck, maybe like a Chevy, like maybe something like less armored.
Back up the Fiat 500.
Yeah, something maybe the grocery cart. To Bill Belichick.
All right, so we're up against a break, but I want you to think about this while we go to break.
Okay, I'm thinking.
If you look at the Bears, and you look at the last 3 times they drafted a quarterback number 1, think about it. Trubisky, Fields, and now Williams. In the same year, all 3 of those head coaches were fired. Take a look at that. We're at the break. It's a Weekend Warriors Football Sunday right here on 1580, The Fanatic.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Live and local.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stopped, opt out. Consult a doctor prior to use.
You look amazing. What have you been doing?
You've heard of Ozempic, Wegovy, and the other GLP-1 medications, right? Well, I found this great company called Zelfie. If you qualify, their providers can prescribe medications like Ozempic and Wegovy and other GLP-1 medications that are 80 to 90% less expensive, all 100% online.
I can get GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% less and do it all online? No No doctor's office or pharmacy?
Yes, Zelfie can help provide you with semaglutide or tirzepatide, the active ingredients in Ozempic and other expensive GLP-1s, but for 80 to 90% less.
How do I get started with Zelfie?
Just send them a text.
Text SOLVE to 200-300 to get started today with Zelfie to see if you're eligible. Get the same active ingredients in Wegovy or Ozempic, but for 80 to 90% less and 100% online. Don't wait. Text SOLVE to 200-300 right now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text SOLVE to 200-300. SOLVE to 200-300.
In most countries of the world, Porte means door. United Porte Custom Doors, located in the Scottsdale Airport Design District, is now open with over 40,000 European doors, all in stock, ready for delivery, and at wholesale prices. Designers, contractors, builders, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Porte, Porte. Stop by to see and feel the quality at United Porte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
Multivitamins are your partners in health. Their nutrients are key to your daily well-being, especially if you're planning to become pregnant. A multivitamin rich in folic acid can help you have a healthier pregnancy and prevent birth defects. That's why the Arizona Department of Health Services is offering a free 3-month supply of daily vitamins with folic acid. To get your free vitamins, go to azdhs.gov/PowerMe-A2Z.
Sponsored by the Arizona Department of Health Services.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open-air zoo, when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. That's when the afternoon took an exciting turn. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue. With its powerful VC turbo engine, well, we had more than enough time to see all the animals. Whoa! And outrun a few!
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now, Nissan offers 6 vehicles starting under $30,000 MSRP. Shop at your local Nissan store or at nissanusa.com. 2024 Nissan Altima, Kicks, Leaf, Rogue, Sentra, and Versa. All prices are manufacturer's suggested retail price. Manufacturer's suggested retail price excludes destination and handling charges, tax, title, license, and options. Dealer sets actual prices.
Download the Fanatic app.
News, scores, social media updates, and more on your smartphone, on your tablet. The free Fanatic app, available at the Google Play Store or the App Store, and at 1580thefanatic.com.
You're live.
The Weekend Warriors on 1580 The Fanatic.
Hey, don't forget, get involved in the show. Hit us up on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580. Or you can hit us up on the comment section on X, YouTube, or Instagram.
All right, so when we were going to the break, I talked about the Bears. So 2017, they drafted Mitchell Trubisky, right?
Yes.
John Fox gets fired.
Oh, yes. Mitchell.
2021, they get Fields, right? Matt Nagy gets fired. And then here we are in 24, where they draft Caleb Williams, and Eberflus is gone.
Well, and the difference is Eberflus lost his job during the season, not at the end of it.
Right.
But... yeah, so
what does that mean?
It means there's a curse. It means there's literally there's no other logical explanation. There is a voodoo curse on the Bears organization.
Well, I don't know. So
when did it happen, though? That's the question.
I don't know if it's a curse or I think it goes back to the first point of just I think that the Bears are somewhat cheap. And look, Matt Nagy, I think that was kind of incompetence more so than anything else.
It was.
Because offense, you would think that that's the perfect pairing, right? That's what you want. You want an offensive-minded head coach to pair along with a rookie quarterback that you can, make and hopefully get into a franchise quarterback of a caliber like that.
Yeah.
But for John Fox and for now Matt Eberflus, neither one of those coaches were offensive-minded, first of all. And also at the time that they both were able to draft a young quarterback, nobody thought that either coach heading into that season was long for this world, specifically for their own job. So it's one of those where if it defies the logic of why would you continue to do this, the common denominator is I think that just because they had extra years on their contract until they were publicly pressured into actually firing them at the last possible chance, right. I guess. I don't know.
It's funny. I mean, first of all, here, Blissful Hayes is on the X chat. It says the Bears are a cursed organization.
See, told you.
They're a business only, not about winning. And I've heard people say that a lot. I mean, so yeah, Blissful Hayes. I've heard that a lot.
Good call, Blissful Hayes.
I mean, Are the Bears going to ruin Caleb Williams? Is that possible? That kid's got so much talent. Are they going to ruin this kid? Another quarterback goes down because of the Bears. You got to bring the right guy in, right? You just do. I think Ben Johnson makes a lot of sense offensively. The guy's a mastermind. I don't know that I'd want to leave the Lions right now, only because, wow, what a run they could really go on, right? But Ben Johnson makes a lot of sense. I've heard Aaron Glenn from there as well. I've heard Joe Brady from the Bills, Mike Vrabel, which I don't see, Kellen Moore. Those are kind of the names being thrown around. I don't know. I think if I'm Caleb Williams, I want Ben Johnson to come over. I don't know what you guys think.
I think so. So here's a little fun fact. This was current before this most recent game they played. This is courtesy of Clutch Points NFL on Instagram. Okay. But you remember what Caleb Williams said at the very beginning of the season? He called his punter, and he said what?
Yeah. You're not going to be punting much. So you can sit down, I guess, something like that.
Yeah. So as of before last week's game, Caleb Williams had 2,021 total yards. The punter has had 2,153 total yards.
He's got more yards than Caleb.
Yeah. Also, one other point too. Kind of side note, segue a little bit. I just want to get it mentioned here. Speaking of the Vikings did somebody super dirty last week. On November 25th, the Minnesota Vikings tweeted, and this is courtesy of CBS Sports, by the way. The Minnesota Vikings tweeted, "Happy birthday to Nick Muse," is one of their players. Nick Muse, happy birthday. Literally hours later, they tweeted, "The Vikings have waived tight end Nick Muse."
Oh God!
So they wished him a happy birthday at 8:26 a.m. and then at 4:15 p.m. they cut him.
That's like going on a date with your girl on Valentine's Day and saying, "I love you," giving her all this stuff, and then texting her at the end of the date saying, "I'm out. See ya."
That's cold.
I've never done that, I swear.
This is why
Ralph, if you could somehow convert that into a car analogy, that would actually make it a lot clearer.
It would make it less weird for people like you guys. So by the way, this is why I think the Vikings are going to win this week, is because they're cold-blooded, man.
Yeah.
They'll cut some dude on his birthday. Who knows what they'll do to Kyler Murray? Anyway,
I think we all agree the Bears are a mess.
Absolutely. Fish rots from the head down.
The Bears still suck.
All right, so we're going to go into the rest of our picks. Let's talk about where we're at right now for the season picks-wise. So this is Week 13. So going into Week 13, last week, wow, we were all 3-3.
You're doing math?
We were all 3-3 last week.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. For half the time I was touting. But again, I get like a spiritual 10-3, okay? Just for what it's worth.
You get a spiritual 10-3, but you're still 3-3. Goodness. So Phil's bringing up the rear like he likes to talk about trunks and stuff. He's in the rear.
Wow.
He's 35-38.
I do like a good rear.
I am in the middle of the Oreo. I am 42-21. And on top is Neil at 43-30.
Yeah, baby.
So you're 1 game ahead of me, and you're 7 games ahead of Phil.
Eat my dust.
So we've all got the Vikings for the first game. So let's go to the second game now. We've got the Seahawks at 6-5 facing off against the New York Jets at 3-8 at MetLife Stadium, the site of a glorious Super Bowl victory for the Seahawks.
Yes.
The Seahawks are a perfect 6-0 at MetLife.
Perfect.
Including Super Bowl 48. They've never lost at MetLife, which is, if you're a Seahawks fan, you know that.
Mm-hmm.
Seahawks I have as a slight favorite, as a 1-point favorite. Is that true?
Yes. That is not currently true. It is the Jets -1 currently.
Wow, so it's switched.
Yeah, flipped completely.
Interesting. And I have a total of 42.
41.5, same difference.
Same difference. All right. I'm going to let Phil start with this one. Phil, where do you want to go with this?
Oh, bless you. Look, I have a feeling that everybody's going to want to pick the Seahawks. Look, the only thing that gives me pause here and makes me consider the Jets that I think we're all going to want to do is the fact that they're coming off of a bye week. They've had an entire week to gobble up Aaron Rodgers' nonsense. Maybe he passed around the ayahuasca. They got into a circle and then just smoked something. And he was like, no, guys, it'll make sense in a few hours. I don't know. That's maybe like the only reason why the talent on paper should be even here and the Jets are home. All that being said, though, I don't want to pick the Jets. I don't want to have to pick the Jets, but I think I kind of have to. Look, the Seahawks have had their hard games. They had back-to-back division.
Stop. Did you say you're taking the Jets?
I am.
He
and
did.
I don't.
I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish. I'd have to go ahead and throw up real quick. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, no kidding. I want to be wrong about this, but look, the Seahawks are coming off back-to-back grueling, very hard-fought divisional games that are far more important in the grand scheme of things than the interconference play games. The Jets, I think, are playing for job security for half their team, again, coming off of a bye. I don't like it, but I like the fact that they're at least home. They've had a bye week to stay home, whereas the Seahawks are coming off of are coming off of a home game and then now having to go across this great nation. I think that this great nation. I'm going to pick the Jets, knowing that both of you Dingledorfs are going to go with the Seahawks.
You heard that I said that the Seahawks are 6-0 at MetLife.
I heard, and trends are great until they aren't.
Okay, and there's a reason you're in last place. Neil, go ahead.
I am not a Dingledorf. There's no dingle in me.
There's no dingle in you?
I might be a dorf. There's no dingle in me.
I thought I saw a little dingle this morning.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
I didn't. Okay, so for the record, I did not start that. This is one of those things where, to me, I get a lot of grief from a lot of people because I don't tend to look closely at stats in certain cases. Because I just know from my experience, my life experience being a fan of the NFL, that the stats sometimes just don't matter. Copyright Ohio State, Michigan yesterday. It doesn't matter. I just think that the Jets as an organization are in complete disarray. A normal team coming off of a bye week like this would be able to rally and would be able to probably pull out a victory against the Seahawks. Okay, but I just don't see it. I have zero faith in this Jets organization. I think that with all of the chaos that's happened, I think a lot of them are just looking ahead to 2025. Let's just get this season over with. Let's get to Cancun, and let's try it again next year, maybe or maybe not with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. I also, too, if this was Aaron Rodgers a decade ago, I might believe in his ability to rally. I don't think – I have this suspicion, and I'm just going on my instinct here. He's lost the locker room. Nobody respects him anymore. It's all about Aaron Rodgers, right? It's become so plain this last couple years that all he cares about is himself. And this is not a commentary on his political beliefs, blah, blah, blah. I couldn't care less what the guy thinks off the field. I just know on the field, in the locker room, I think he's lost the team. And I think because of that, they may keep it close for 3 quarters, but I think Geno Smith and the better team will prevail, and I'm picking the Seahawks.
It's a good man right there.
I know where my bread is.
You said you weren't, Neil, but you are indeed.
A Dingledorf.
He definitely got a little dingle going on. All right.
You're just jealous.
You know, I've been saying it the last couple of weeks. That Seahawks defense the last 3 weeks has been probably top 3 in football. They're just getting better every week. Leonard Williams is a man on fire right now.
Agreed.
And he showed you that against the Cardinals last week, against a mobile quarterback. And this time he gets to go against a non-movable dummy. That's just going to be standing there that can't move.
Statue.
Seattle's defense is going to destroy Aaron Rodgers in that backfield today. They are going to have a feast, a turkey-sized Thanksgiving feast against Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion. They're going to be hitting him every other play, sacking him 5 or more times. That's what I see happening on the defensive side of the ball for Seattle.
So hang on. So I see a total sacks this game over 5. Is that
over
what I'm hearing?
5? Absolutely.
Okay. What else do you want?
Not only has that defense done that the secondary is ranked number 1 in the NFL. So go ahead and throw the ball. And you have a defense that's recorded takeaways in each of the last 5 games.
How many picks do you think are going to happen today?
I'm going to go Seahawks? 1, maybe 2, but I'll say 1.
Okay. I'm doing this because I'm going to put in a same-game parlay on DraftKings after we're done talking.
You should do it.
I feel like you know what you're talking about here.
Now, offensively for Seattle, it's been a little bit of a struggle, and it really shouldn't be because they have too many weapons. I get the offensive line issues, but we have that kid at center now that's done a really good job for 2 games. I think we're going to have a new starting right guard today because of injury. I think I can't remember who it is. Aber Lucas has looked good at right tackle since he's been back, et cetera, et cetera. The line is starting to get a little better. They're still not doing well against the run, though. That's been the issue, is they can't open the lanes for the run game. And Kenneth Walker is having to be more creative because of that. So the little quick screens and things like that. The biggest weapon Seattle has right now on their offense, though, if you really look at it, is JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba. they run those little screens with him, and he just busts them. They did it again last week against the Cardinals, and I expect to see more of that this week. You know it's coming, but you can't stop it. It's a great play for them. So I really think this is not a close game. I really don't. I think Seattle, this is an easy win. I'll be surprised if it's a close game. I don't think the Jets have a chance. I just don't. Not with that aging quarterback. Breece Hall is injured with his knee. They're not even sure he's playing. He's questionable. He might play. If he doesn't play, God help them. They have nothing. But it doesn't matter. I think even with a bad knee, Seattle's going to stop their run game. So I'm taking Seattle. I'm taking them big. I actually have bet on this game already, and I took Seattle because I just don't see them losing this game. So a big win for Seattle today, and I think with a Cardinal loss now, you have a 2-game lead on the Cardinals technically.
What's the line again? Seahawks.
Jets are -1.
Jets -1.
Oh, Jets -1 in this
Jets
one.
-1. Yeah, which
that
is crazy.
So
1 minute.
Dumb.
I think
that
it's
is so dumb.
It's crazy, but
That's stupid.
Is what it is. All right.
We got
hour 1 is down.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We have a full hour number 2 coming up.
Woohoo!
We are going to still talk some fantasy. We have more games to pick. We're taking our time today, but we do have a new fantasy segment since the King is at MetLife watching the Seahawks. He's actually there with Seahawks.com, and he's representing the press as a Seahawk agent. So that's kind of cool. So have fun, King. Hour 2's coming up. We'll have some more fantasy on the other side, some more picks, and a couple other things that we've got decided we want to do. We'll see what we get to.
Well, as soon as Ralph decides what we're going to do, are you thinking about this on the fly?
I do sometimes.
How many times we've done the show, Ralph?
3.
10.
All right. It's Weekend Warriors Football Sunday right here on 1580 The Fanatic. 3.
Sports betting apps are not created equal. Dylan Cohen from Beat the Book here to talk about the Sport Trade Advantage. With higher payouts, Sport Trade is the ultimate sports betting experience. Sport Trade is the first sports betting app that gives you the option to see the odds expressed as probabilities, and it's changing in-game betting forever. If it's easier to understand 52% probability of winning versus -108 odds, then Sport Trade is for you. With this percent odds feature, cashing out now makes much more sense. As the win probability changes, so does the value of your bet. And if you're an experienced bettor and prefer American odds, you'll get pricing closer to -106 versus the normal -110, coupled with instant in-play betting. No more spinny wheels. So download Sport Trade today to see the difference and beat the book. Use promo code 1580 to earn 10% cash back on every bet you place in your first week. Terms apply. Sport Trade is regulated by the Arizona Department of Gaming. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Learn more at Viking.com. Now open in Scottsdale. It's United Porte Custom Door Showroom with 40,000 Euro doors and hundreds of state-of-the-art designs and finishes on display, plus kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and more, all at wholesale prices. Builders, contractors, designers, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Porte, P-O-R-T-E. Stop by to see and feel the quality. United Porte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
It's fall football season, and Kasai Japanese Steakhouse is doubling down, now with 2 Valley locations. When it comes to Asian cuisine, no one does it better and more authentic than Kasai, where talented Teppan chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse isn't just dinner, it's dinnertainment. A memorable dining experience where a delicious 7-course meal is prepared right at your table with flair. It's a perfect choice for celebrations, date nights, or a night on the town. Choose from over 30 different items and combinations of teppanyaki, Asian fusion, and innovative sushi. Happy hour is always on fire and offered daily with specials on their Asian-inspired comfort food like Korean steak tacos, Mongolian barbecue ribs, and signature Wagyu beef sliders. Always a memorable dinner, or catch the game and a bite at the bar. At Kasai, now with 2 locations, Scottsdale Road in Thunderbird and in Peoria at the 101 in Northern. Go to KasaiTeppan.com. That's K-A-S-A-I Teppan.com, or search Kasai on your mobile phone.
Did you know that daily multivitamins boost your health on the inside and the outside? It's true. Multivitamins with folic acid boost energy levels, improve your mood, and promote overall wellness. And if you decide to have a baby, they can help prevent birth defects in a pregnancy. That's why the Arizona Department of Health Services is offering a free 3-month supply of multivitamins. Visit azdhs.gov/PowerMe-A2C for free vitamins.
Sponsored by the Arizona Department of Health Services.
Hi guys, Jeffrey O'Brien here. Have you ever gone to HarmonSolar.com? Well, you really need to, because everything you ever wanted to know about how solar power can save you big on your monthly electric bill is right there. It's online. Through your phone or through your computer, you can learn about tax credits, the equipment they use, look at how they do things for businesses as well as homeowners, see testimonials from happy customers, and I hear they got a pretty good podcast too. Check it out. Go to HarmonSolar.com. That's HarmonSolar.com.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's the weekend!
Warriors!
Warriors! Coming to play! Yeah! Here we go!
You're alive.
All right, everybody, it's 10 a.m. on this football Sunday. Woohoo! We're broadcasting live from the Weekend Warriors studios in beautiful Peoria, Arizona. I'm Ralph Romano, alongside my partner in crime, the legend Neil Lynch. And we have the legendary Philip Emrine in the control room, and this is the Weekend Warriors Football Sunday edition.
Hey, everybody. We still want you to get involved. We got another hour of fantastic football pontification leading into your games this weekend. You like that word?
That's a
anyway,
good word.
Hit us up on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, or hit us up on the comment sections on X, Facebook, and Instagram, where we're broadcasting or streaming live, so you can see Ralph's beautiful face.
You can see us pontificate.
I just feel so good.
Extrapolate and pontificate.
Especially when Phil pontificates with that camera angle. I like it.
Well, he pontificates with a pompadour. That's what he does.
We're double P's.
So we don't have Scott the King on for the first time in a while, actually.
Yeah, we don't.
He's over at he's at the Seahawks Jet game. He's in the press box for the Seahawks. He does work for Seahawks.com, so he's covering the game for them. So in his place, we have something called Fantasy Phil.
Yes. Now, gentlemen, I would dare not ever try to step on Scott's fantasy toes, as he is a king, as he is a beacon in the fantasy society. That's why I'm going to have you guys do it. So I'm going to give you guys 3 options and these following fantastical scenarios, and I want you guys to pick and decide which one is the best one. So let's start out with you, Neil.
All right.
Let's go. Neil, which quarterback would you want for fantasy till end of season? 3 options here. Would you want the current quarterback number 1, Lamar Jackson, with an average score of 25 points per game, and the 5th hardest strength of schedule for QBs going forward? That's QB1.
Okay.
Number 2, QB6, Josh Allen, with an average score of 20 points per game, and the 17th hardest strength of schedule for QBs going forward, so a little middling right there.
Mm-hmm.
Or QB5, which is Baker Mayfield, surprisingly to some, with an average score of 21 points per game and the 2nd easiest strength of schedule for QBs going forward. You got a little poo-poo platter over there.
Thanks for that. It's
With your dingle.
It's delicious.
Pontificate on your poo-poo.
You're obsessed with my dingle. Anyway,
Wow.
so that's you, Ralph. So, all right, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Baker
Mayfield.
Baker, the real deal. Baker Mayweather, as I like to call him. So that's a tough one. So obviously the easy pick is Lamar Jackson because he's number 1. However, it really depends on his strength of schedule, who he has left to play. Obviously,
he's got a Steelers game left. He's got a couple division games left.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield, obviously, he's just a little. I don't want to say unpredictable, but he's hot and cold, right? Sometimes he looks like a world beater, and sometimes he looks like the world beat him up. So I don't know. That one's a difficult one.
That's fantastic.
Josh Allen is the most consistent of the group. So and again, you can use the stats and the numbers and the figures, and you do all that stuff. But I tend to look at the I look at the human side of football. I look at the emotional intelligence side of football. And I would say that based on that, if I had to pick one of those three, I feel like, for me personally, the best opportunity to succeed would be Josh Allen for the rest of the season.
All right, with a possible MVP case over there. All right, Ralph.
Okay, that was the wrong pick.
Ralph, which RB would you want for fantasy till end of season? So going forward, would you want the current running back number 3, Alvin Kamara, averaging about 20 points per game with the 10th easiest schedule for running backs going forward?
Right.
Running back number 4, Jahmyr Gibbs, he's averaging 18 points per game with the easiest schedule for running backs going forward, but does have to share with David Montgomery. Or running back number 9, Joe Mixon, averaging 21 points per game with the 17th hardest schedule for running backs going forward. Alvin Kamara, Jahmyr Gibbs, or Joe Mixon?
Before I go into that, Neil's wrong. Because you would take Baker Mayfield in that situation because of the schedule he has. Allen's going to be playing in bad weather for the rest of the season. And Lamar Jackson, no thanks. So I just wanted to say that. I wanted to make you feel bad. All right. So now that I've accomplished that, I just wanted to feel bad. Because as Dingle is burying.
Wow. What is this about? His
every
obsession.
I know.
Phil, do you hear this?
Here's episode, I just throw something and it sticks on Ralph's wall, man.
I'm across
a dirty wall.
Here's the thing: is you're several miles away. I'm across the table from this guy.
Yeah.
This is a little frightening for me.
Are you across? All right. Anyway,
can I call you after the show, Phil, to make sure I'm safe?
I knew it. It was going to come back to me and my hair.
All right. Anyway,
make a safe word. Anyway,
pick your awful running back.
My
Go.
awful running backs. Let me if I remember. Go back here now. So you said Kamara with the easiest. Was it Kamara that has the easiest schedule?
Oh my God! Write stuff down. Dude.
Or Mixon has the easiest schedule.
Let's see. Alvin Kamara has the 10th easiest schedule.
Mixon
Jahmyr has the easiest.
Okay.
And Joe Mixon has the 17th hardest. So it's just real middling right there.
It's very middling. And I've had all three of these guys on fantasy before. I have Kamara right now. I don't feel good about Kamara. I won't take Kamara. He's
playing with a broken hand.
Yeah, I don't feel good about him right now. That's not who I would finish with. I've had Mixon before, and I like the way Mixon kind of finishes out seasons. He seems to finish strong, regardless of who he's playing against. He seems to put the numbers up. And I don't like Gibbs because I don't like the mixing of the handoffs, of the missing of the carries. I feel that's going to bring his numbers down a little bit, especially if they continue. They're not playing fantastic last week. I didn't like how they played. How much points did he have last week? Do you know, or this week? Do you know?
Joe Mixon?
No, Gibbs.
I'm not sure, but I can look it up.
I'm just curious. But I think I'm going to take. You don't have to look it up. I'm going to take Mixon. You know what? I'm going to ride Mixon for the rest of the season. I've done it before. I like how he finishes. I'm going to take Mixon. To me, that's the best bet of the three.
You're going to ride him because you like how he finishes?
Yes.
What show is this? What is happening here at 1580 99.3 The Fanatic?
Dingleberry down.
Wow. This is crazy. By the way, Ralph, you're wrong. You're just wrong. I have no reason. You're just wrong.
I don't look at stats.
You're wrong.
I'm stupid. All right,
I don't look at logic. You're wrong.
Yeah.
I would say the one thing you did not mention, though, Ralph, is that in that particular group, the one who does seem to be the most injury prone would be Joe Mixon. That would be the only thing to consider.
No, he is.
So
I agree with that, and I'm still going to go with him.
Still going to go with him. All right, Neil, let's go back to you, and we're going to kind of go more into the fantastical elements of fantasy. All right, we're going to start to stray from the path here. So it's not too far away, but for our first step, who is the biggest fantasy travesty this year, Neil, given how much hype there was for them going into this season? We're going to start out close to home here. Marvin Harrison Jr., his average draft day position going into the year was number 14th, early second round, ranks currently 30th for wide receivers, averages 11 points in a PPR league, and only had two games, Neil, scoring above 20 points. My goodness. Next one, Travis Etienne Jr., average draft position was number 17th, also an early second round. Ranks 39th for all running backs. Averages, ready for this, Neil? 8.3 points per game, and has never had 15 points this season in a PPR format. Oh, but did have a game scoring negative 0.1 points, and he got injured that game, understandably, but still. Or Odell Beckham Jr. Just kidding. I just wanted to keep the junior theme going here.
Okay, so you're going to have to repeat the name because I was busy doing some in-depth research when you mentioned the name of the second person. Can you
Yes,
repeat that,
Travis
please?
Etienne Jr.
Oh, Etienne.
Yeah,
Etienne.
Yes.
Got it.
Etienne, yes, excuse me. But the last option will be C.J. Stroud. Now, he was drafted as the 5th quarterback overall. He is currently ranked number 17th among quarterbacks and averages only 14 points and has only had one game above 20 points. So overall here, Neil, you're going to choose between Marvin Harrison, Travis Etienne, or C.J. Stroud. Which one is the biggest fantasy disappointment?
This is easy, Neil.
It's easy. Christian McCaffrey.
That's why I didn't put him in.
My biggest fantasy disappointment, personally.
Yeah, of course. I mean, everybody. It's crazy how much stock he keeps getting as the number 1 overall pick.
Of the 3, well, that's an interesting one.
Easy.
So I would say, oh my goodness.
It's easy.
He's going to pick Marvin Harrison Jr. Oh, okay. Well, that's who I pick. No, I'm not going to do that. You know why? It's because I wouldn't have put a lot of stock in him to begin with because rookies are it's so hit or miss. Not every time. He got one right.
You got it. That's
folks.
a perfect answer.
Yay! Well, you think about Randy Moss. Not everybody can be Randy Moss, right?
But that's the answer. Good job.
So, thank you. Well, and then as far as C.J. Stroud goes, I don't know.
He was never mobile for me, so that was the one that I got to avoid.
Yeah, I think to me of the 3, and it's not a great choice, which was by design, of course. I think Etienne Jr. is the one.
Yes.
Wow.
You got it.
Do I get a cookie?
Stroud had a tough schedule this year compared to his Powder Puff schedule last year. Therefore, he's having a down year.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, and Etienne, or whatever you want to call him, he's complete disappointment this year. The whole offense is a complete disappointment. So, absolutely.
Yeah, started the year as a lead running back and entered a committee, a true committee, as Scott would love to hear.
Yep.
And awful.
Perfect.
Awful. All right, Ralph, let's go to you, and we're going to kind of stray away from fantasy here. Where would you, Ralph, like to see T. Higgins go this offseason, if not with the Bengals? As we all know, he's working on the last year of his contract.
Right.
Okay, first one, I labeled it the safe choice. The New England Patriots are projected to have over $139 million entering free agency, and with using the cheat code of finding your franchise quarterback in the draft and having that rookie contract, it's hard to not see this make sense for a team with money to burn and little offensive firepower with a wide receiver who will be at the top of a depleted wide receiver market. So that's the safe choice.
Okay.
The choice. Pittsburgh would love to not only add a wide receiver, but to also rob a divisional rival of one of their greatest strengths. It's a marriage that could make sense for both sides, especially with the Steelers seem content not to pay any quarterback and just take the scraps of the league. So that's the choice. And then finally, the squint hard and you'll see it choice. The Arizona Cardinals have a wide receiver number 1, but overloading on wide receiver could help offset the reliance this team has felt on the run game. And with the Cardinals thus far projected to have the second most cap space projected at $114 million, this could be the Roddy White-Julio Jones tandem that the Cardinals would love to see.
Ooh.
Ralph, which team are you thinking that T. Higgins would make the most sense for? New England Patriots, Pittsburgh, or Cardinals?
So I'll start with Pittsburgh. I think that's a bad decision to go to Pittsburgh. Not because of the division rival thing, but because there's a lot of uncertainty there at quarterback. So you're not sure who's going to be the guy throwing the ball to you. And if it's Justin Fields, I really don't want to be on the other end of that. And Russell Wilson is declining. Granted, he's having a good space here right now. But I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with that going forward. So I'm not going to the Steelers. As far as the Cardinals, if you're the Cardinals and you would bring in somebody like T. Higgins because you want that 1-2 punch, you're a bunch of idiots. You have so much need on this team. I mean, think about the things that this team needs. They need a defensive front. They need an offensive line. They need work in the defensive secondary. There are too many needs to waste all your money on a receiver. You have a great young kid that could get better if someone could actually throw him the ball. And he will be better next year. Receivers this good always get better year 2. You don't need another superstar next to him. You just need some decent guys that can catch, maybe that are bigger than 5'1", Dortch. So, no, you don't want to go to the Cardinals. That's a mistake. The third check was with the New England Patriots. That makes all the sense in the world. Number 1, they have the money to do it. Number 2, you've got Drake May, who I think will be a very good quarterback year after year. He's already shown so much promise. To have him throwing you the ball down the field makes a lot of sense. You can grow with this guy. And it's good for it's good for the Patriots. The Patriots are going to get better. They're going to put the money in the right places. They've got good coaching staff. I like what they're doing. They will be relevant again, and that would be a good first step in getting there. So that's where I'd go.
Ralph,
Aaron.
you know what I'm going to say, right? Yeah, I'm going to say.
Go ahead, say it.
You're wrong.
Nope, I'm 100% right.
You're wrong.
Am I wrong, Phil?
You're again. It's the reason why it was the safe choice. I want chaos, so I wanted to go to the Cardinals. But I agree. I think that it makes the most sense in the world.
Phil, you're wrong too.
Oh, there we go.
I just want to say he's wrong, but your logic is sound.
Well, Neil, let's go to you, so that way we can find out what the right answer is for this next one. Phil's fantasy.
Oh boy.
Which running back, Neil, would you bet the Neil estate, the entire mansion,
all $6
to get into the Hall of Fame first? We're looking first at Derrick Henry. Now, currently he's aged 30 years old, Heisman Trophy winner, has a 2,000-yard rushing season under his belt, and an NFL Offensive Player in 2020 as well. Next one would be Christian McCaffrey, currently aged 28, has 3 MVP votes in the year of 2023, where he won Offensive Player of the Year. Or Saquon Barkley, age 27, of course the youngest here, drafted second overall in the 2018 NFL Draft, holds the Eagles' single-game rushing yards, 255, and scrimmage yards, 302, in a single game in his first season with the Eagles, and is currently the third favorite for NFL MVP. Which running back would you bet to get into the Hall of Fame first?
That is a really good question.
Easy.
I'm going to eliminate Derrick Henry immediately because I just don't.
Wow.
He hasn't done enough, in my opinion. Okay. I mean, we're talking Hall of Fame here. Okay. Obviously, this could change over time. I understand that, but if you want me to bet the Neil estate today, I'm not betting on Derrick Henry.
Okay.
So then the question is Christian McCaffrey versus Saquon Barkley. Clearly, Saquon Barkley is loving his new environment in Philadelphia. He is blossoming, much to the chagrin of the Giants for a lot of reasons. That's a really tough one. Who goes first?
It is tough.
I think. Remind me again. So McCaffrey's 28. How old is Saquon Barkley?
27.
Oh, so they're close. This is a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what's going to happen. They're both going to probably be in the same Hall of Fame class, and they both might get in. I don't know. As much as he disappointed me this year in fantasy, based on his body of work up to this point and based on his impact on a team, and again, Saquon is very quickly becoming this person. I think as of right now, and to me it's a coin toss, I pick McCaffrey. McCaffrey goes first.
I think Saquon Barkley gets in if he becomes the only NFL MVP winner since Adrian Peterson did not be a quarterback. But I can't argue with you. All three are worthy contenders.
I think Saquon. I think Saquon Barkley. That's what made it tough.
If McCaffrey doesn't get a ring, I think there's a question mark there.
I kind
He's
of
been
agree.
hurt a lot his career. He hasn't really. I can sit here honestly and say, what has he done? And you can't say much. So I don't know. It's a tough one. You can say that about all three of these guys, though. What have they done?
That's true. That's true.
And Barkley's been hurt in a lot of his career too. Now he's looking great this year, but he's been hurt a lot. And Derrick Henry probably makes the most sense and probably has the best chance to get a ring in the next few years. So I don't know. That's a tough one, man.
Yeah, that was good. That was very good, Phil.
So we're up against the break, Phil. That was very interesting.
Yes, absolutely.
I kind of like that segment.
I've got a couple that we can still come pepper in if you want some more fantastical ones. But either way, yes, they can live on.
Well, what I want to do after the break, we have 2 segments left. I'd like to do a quick redraft.
Ooh,
just quick. Do a redraft of this year's draft, top 10 only, and we'll do it very quickly. And then we got some stuff Neil wants to get into as well. So, and we still have 4 more picks. We're probably going to have to do super fast. Hey, this is who I'm taking, just so we can have them on the books. I don't see us getting too far into these games.
That's fine.
Unless you guys want to. I'll let you guys tell me what you want to do.
Titans versus Washington Commanders analysis. Yeah, baby.
I'll tell you what I want. What I really, really want. Never mind.
Okay, so think about it on the break. When we come back, something's happening on the Weekend Warriors on 1580 The Fanatic.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Live and local.
Sports bettors, we've all been there. You have a live bet lined up, you check the odds one more time, place the bet only to see the bet delayed by the spinny wheel, line moves.
Thank you. A lot of time went into that.
Rejected. My name's Alex Kane, and I'm the founder and CEO of SportTrade, Arizona's newest sports betting app. At the core of the SportTrade offering is our probability-based odds. In other words, the Cardinals may be offered at 55% odds to win, a lot simpler than minus 125. Place your bet at 55% odds, and as your win probability changes, so does the value of your bet, giving you the ability to cash out with total control. And the best part, no spinning wheels. Live bets on SportTrade are instantly accepted. Download SportTrade on your iPhone today and use code 1580 to earn 10% cash back on every bet in your first week. Terms apply.
SportTrade is regulated by the Arizona Department of Gaming. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Welcome to Staples.
Help! My family's in for the holidays and I need gift ideas.
That's why we're here. Staples has amazing deals on everything you need. Photo gifts, laptops, and gaming systems. Even custom holiday cards and shipping solutions to send gifts to the family that can't make it.
Perfect! Have anything for Uncle Frank? I love him, but the guy is never quiet.
Noise-canceling headphones. For you.
You get it.
Unwrap huge holiday savings at Staples. And right now at Staples, save up to $350 on select computers. Ends 12/28, in-store only.
The GCU men's basketball squad is coming off their winningest season in 35 years, their third trip to the NCAA tournament in 4 years, and their first ever NCAA tournament victory. Returning 4 of their 5 starters in Ray Harrison, Colin Moore, Duke Brennan, and reigning WAC Player of the Year Tyon Grant Foster, the Lopes look to defend their WAC titles and make a run to the Sweet 16. With a non-conference slate including Stanford, Georgia, and crosstown rival Arizona State, you won't want to miss a moment of the action. So join me, Michael Potter, and Lopes insider Paul Coro all season long right here on the home of the Lopes, 1580 The Fanatic. Lopes up.
This holiday season, make sure your plans include a sober ride home. Before the party starts, make sure you have a safe way home. Call a sober friend, taxi, or rideshare, because buzz driving is still drunk driving, and drunk driving can land you in serious trouble. Don't ruin the holidays. Plan ahead and get home safe to avoid a DUI. For more information, visit drivesober.az.gov. This message is sponsored by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
Hi guys, Jeffrey O'Brien here. Have you ever gone to HarmonSolar.com? Well, you really need to, because everything you ever wanted to know about how solar power can save you big on your monthly electric bill is right there. It's online. Through your phone or through your computer, you can learn about tax credits, the equipment they use, look at how they do things for businesses as well as homeowners, see testimonials from happy customers, and I hear they got a pretty good podcast too. Check it out. Go to HarmonSolar.com. That's HarmonSolar.com.
So, what's your favorite thing about sports? The excitement, the action, or the 5-meat pizza and the six-pack?
Bingo. That's what we thought.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
You're live, Black Betty.
The Weekend Warriors on 1580, The Fanatic.
Hey, we still got time for y'all to get involved. It's been fun having your text during the show. Why don't you join us and get involved, participate in the program. Hit us up on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, or hit us up on the comments section on X, YouTube, or Instagram, where we're streaming.
All right. We're going to do a redraft. I think that's
okay. That was easy.
We're going to do a mid-season redraft. So just the top 10. Let's just focus on that. So, everybody good with that?
And
if you're not, too bad.
I can't wait. Honestly, I am.
All right, Neil.
Never mind.
You're the Chicago Bears. You have the number 1 pick this year. Who you drafting? Based on what we've seen this year, who you drafting?
I'd still go with Caleb Williams.
You still with Caleb? Why?
I'm still Caleb because that's because the organization needs that. The organization notwithstanding, if I'm the Bears, I'm in a position to pick. You know, you can't pick the best player available, blah blah, whatever. You need a quarterback. He's electric. He has the personality. He has all the things we need. Except we need to get a coaching staff around him, right?
Yeah.
I still pick him number 1. Sorry.
How about you, Phil? You're the Bears. Who are you picking?
Yeah, it's still Caleb Williams. The promise is too much there, and I can put too much of the blame on what the season went wrong with Matt Eberflus more so than I can Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. The ceiling's just too high on Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
If it's just that, it's not that Jaden Daniels isn't having a great year, but that ceiling on Caleb is just outrageous. So I think you have to make him the first pick. I don't see how you get away from making him the first pick. All right, with that said, so now you're the Commanders, and you've got pick number 2. Do you stay with Jaden Daniels, or do you go somewhere else, Phil?
I'm moving along to Jaden Daniels still here with Washington. I know. Drake May is enticing here. I think that he has a better build, and certainly the rest of this season will make a big difference on this pick for me. I think that one season will make a huge difference. Just because Jaden Daniels, where you worry about him is his size. Physically, he looks skinny, he feels skinny, and he already has a broken rib 1 year into the NFL, and Drake May is working behind a not much better offensive line. Actually, one could argue a worse offensive line, and is seemingly fine and seems to be doing a lot himself. I think the ceiling's still high on Jaden Daniels. That's why I'm putting him here. But I'm very scared about the long-term health about Jaden Daniels.
Okay, that's fair. So, Neil, do you stick with Jaden Daniels? Has his ceiling been hit already, do you think, and now he's starting to come down a little bit? Or is it just a product of maybe some bad offensive coordination? Or is he just he's learning, he's a rookie, maybe he started off really fast and now it's just kind of settling in a little bit? Is that your pick?
So for me, that's a tough one because I mean this is the hindsight draft, right? Like if we knew then what we know now, what would we do?
Right, exactly.
Honestly, I would have picked Drake May.
Wow.
At this point.
So you feel Drake May
Can't blame him.
I feel like they flip-flop. The Patriots would have got Jaden Daniels and the Commanders would have got Drake May. That's if I pick now. But I answered my next question. But no, I think I would have picked Drake May. And as far as your comment about his decline, sure he's going to decline. He's a rookie, right? Sure. It's rare for them to be. Bo Nix is turning into what we thought he was going to be. We know Caleb Williams will be. He's just surrounded by turkeys. He's surrounded by idiots, right? It's like idiocracy. If Idiocracy were a football team. But I think Jaden Daniels is going to be fine. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to have a long and successful career. He should get a little more meat on those bones. I understand that, but
you're taking Drake May.
Ultimately, I would have picked Drake May, knowing what I know now.
All right, I'm actually staying with Jaden Daniels. I think the problem that Jaden Daniels is having right now is their offense is getting too predictable, and the defenses are just ready for it, and you can see it, and that's why the Commanders are struggling. I think the ceiling on Jaden Daniels is pretty high. He better gain some weight and some muscle, or he's going to have issues. He'll be another RG3 otherwise. So I'd like to see that happen, but I think he's worth a 2 pick. So I'm staying with him. All right.
Well, good for you.
So number 3, you've got the Patriots. You've already said you're taking Jaden Daniels.
I would have.
Neil's taking Jaden Daniels.
I would have flip-flopped. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not. I go with Drake May here. I think he's a great fit in New England. I think he's going to be perfect for what they're going to want to do going forward. Makes a lot of sense. I like that they didn't rush him in there week 1 and they kind of let him feel his way through it. So I love Drake May in New England, and I'm going to stay with Drake May. What do you got, Phil?
This is where I first stray away from where the draft went, and it actually is not an indictment on Drake May. It's more so an indictment on the New England Patriots and what they have to offer a franchise quarterback at this current point in time. Give me Joe Alt to the New England Patriots.
Wow.
Because if you look at offensive line play and see how it's all going, Joe Alt has been everything he has been built to and more. He feels like the Penei Sewell of this year, where he is just incredible. He has both the size, the mobility, and protection plan from an offensive tackle at the most important position that the New England Patriots are just a sieve. That's partly why they weren't able to fulfill their plan of Jacoby Brissett staying as a quarterback number 1 for the entirety of the season, because he simply was too statuesque and not able to get away, which is why they had to convert and go over to Drake May, because he's a little bit more mobility. And Drake May's making the best he can out of the situation. I still don't think that it's ideal for a franchise quarterback to be behind such a porous offensive line. So give me Joe Alt there, and I think that that's where they should be able to tank and then be able to get their quarterback in this next draft.
That's a really good pick. All right.
I like it.
I like it too.
It's pretty good.
So now it gets interesting. We go to number 4 where the Cardinals are, right?
Ralph's favorite team ever, by the way.
So I'm going to go last. I mean, but you got to think about what there is here, right? What do they need, and what have you seen? So I'm going to go to Phil first. Phil, on the Cardinals, what do you take at 4? Do you stick with Marvin Harrison Jr. or do you go somewhere else?
I don't stick with Marvin Harrison Jr. I think the promise is there, certainly going forward, but obviously they don't know how to utilize him at least right now. Do I think that going forward they can?
Correct.
Certainly, and I think he has a great, tremendous future. But at least for where you are right now, and plus you have Kyler Murray, so you're in a kind of a win-now mode, I think that this is a pick here where you actually should be addressing somewhere else for an impact player that impacts right now far more so than Marvin Harrison allows you to. I'm going to go down the board. Down the board to where... Going down. Well, I don't know about that.
Wow. Okay, that's weird.
Not on air. Down back to pick 19 in the actual draft, and I'm going to go to Jared Verse for the Arizona Cardinals because I think for defensive line, addressing either side of the line would be appropriate here. But Joe Alt's already gone. Jared Verse has been everything that he was billed to be for the Rams, and been a suitable, not A-to-A comparison, but a suitable replacement for Aaron Donald, and has been able to allow the Rams to be more stout on defense than they otherwise would have been projected to. So Arizona Cardinals get Jared Verse in my redraft.
I love that pick. That's a good pick.
Do you love that pick?
I do. I love Jared Verse. I love that pick. Who do you got?
I like the name. It's a cool name.
Who are you taking? Mr. Cardinals.
Mr. Cardinals.
Staying with Harrison?
So,
somewhere else?
Oh, I'm not going with Harrison because that's not where the greatest need is, and I think we all knew that. I think we were all scratching. I mean, yeah, you pick up Marvin Harrison Jr. because he's potentially a once-in-a-generation talent, yada, yada, yada. But where have they struggled the most as a team? Which unit has struggled the most?
Offensive line.
Offensive line. So you have to go offensive line. I would go with J.C. Latham. From Alabama, Nelly.
J.C. Latham. Okay, that's interesting.
I would do the offensive tackle. I would shore up that O-line. I would use that opportunity to shore up the O-line. Because here's the thing. We all know that their defense has actually played surprisingly good. So it's like, again, we're looking through the midseason hindsight. I think offensive line was the right pick for that. So.
Okay, that's a good pick too. Now, for me, Marvin Harrison Jr. is great. He could be a great player. He hasn't shown it yet. I mean, he's got flashes, right? But for me, if I was going to go wide receiver, I'm about Malik Neighbors if I'm taking a wide receiver because he's shown more greatness with a bad quarterback.
Malik Neighbors
right?
has.
So if I had to go receiver, I'm taking Malik over Marvin Harrison. But I'm not taking a receiver in this spot. I'm with you. Their biggest need is offensive line or defensive line. So I would either go with Verse, which I like that pick, or I would have taken Alt right here. Joe Alt makes a lot of sense right here because in my draft he's available. So I'm taking Joe Alt because that's a guy that's going to start for you for the next 10, 12 years. That's a building block on that line. So that's who the Cardinals should have taken. It was a mistake not going that route. They went for the flash pick, and it didn't do much for them. This guy, Harrison Jr., can't change everything for this team. They have so many other needs. It was a bad pick, in my opinion. I'm all about Joe Alt in this pick. All right, with that said, number 5, now the Chargers are going to come up. So they had taken Joe Alt. Now they can't, in my draft anyway.
And then your draft, yeah.
So who do you have the Chargers taking at 5, Neil?
Since this is my draft, I stick with Alt. I stay with him. Clearly, that's worked out for them.
Great pick.
That is just the most quintessential Harbaugh pick in the entirety of the NFL. Like that was a
right.
That was a marriage just destined forever. That is like, hey, we got a top 5 pick. Do we want to go flashy? Nope. No, we're just gonna go bread and butter, baby. We're just gonna go offensive line. Ooh.
Who you taking, Phil?
In my universe, Joe Alt's not there, so if I'm being realistic, they probably do go either J.C. Latham or Olu Fashanu. But I'm gonna just for the namesake, I'm going to go a wide receiver because as we've seen, Ladd McConkey's great, but just all right. And I think they can upgrade better if they have a top 5 overall pick rather than go with McConkey in the second round here. So if I'm going to go wide receiver, they already have Quentin Johnston on this team, so he kind of fulfills the need that Marvin Harrison does, even though I do like Marvin Harrison. I'm going to go with more speed, and I am going to agree with Ralph here. We're 2 peas in the pod here in our draft. I'm going to go with Malik Neighbors to the Los Angeles Chargers just because he has the ability to take the top off a little bit more than I would give Marvin Harrison Jr. on that ability.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. This is where I take Malik Neighbors also. I think it just makes sense for the Chargers in this pick. If Alt's gone, obviously. Malik Neighbors makes a lot of sense. I put him on this team. They've already got a good quarterback. They've already got a good defensive line. I like Neighbors. Neighbors, if he had a good quarterback thrown to him, I can't even imagine what this guy would have done this year. He's already had such a good year, but he'd be that much better on a team like the Chargers. Okay, so now we go to the Giants, who took Malik Neighbors at 6. He's no longer there for me and you anyway, Phil. So, Neil, You're the Giants. You know what? I'm going to go first.
You go first.
I'm going to go first. It's the Giants. Who am I taking? I'm taking Bo Nix.
You're taking Bo Nix. I like that.
Right, because the Giants knew last year
that Daniel Jones
was a bust. I understand the whole money. He was a bust. You were going to get rid of this guy at some point here soon. Bo Nix, most underrated quarterback in this draft. I've been saying it since draft day. He's showing you that the last 4 or 5 weeks. The guy's a stud. If the Giants would have taken Bo Nix right here, imagine where they'd be right now. Right? I mean, they'd have that figured out.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the coaching.
I still
that
think
he has
you
there.
had the potential at quarterback.
You're just saying raw talent.
Raw talent. The kid is seasoned and ready to go. He's 47 years old. He knew what he was going to be coming into. So you take the Giants. If you're the Giants, you take Bo Nix right here. That's what
Bo Nix is 47.
Yeah, he's 48.
Wow. That's
Phil,
weird.
who are you taking for the Giants?
Wow, it qualifies for AARP. I'm going to go for the Giants. They actually have a tremendous cornerstone in their left tackle who's unfortunately out for the season. So you have this revolving doors effect where you hope that with a new draft pick, maybe it doesn't happen in this universe, whatever. So I'm not going to address the offensive line, which would be fine. I am going to go quarterback though. I agree with you, but I'm going to go a different quarterback. I'm going to go with. I'm right there. I'm going to go Michael Penix Jr.
I knew it.
Yeah, I realize he's the more stationary of the two, but obviously there was a lot of aggression for him, and I think that as much as the Atlanta Falcons were smart for going in that direction when nobody else saw it and underselling that ability, I think that the New York Giants definitely need a succession plan. Definitely would feel a lot better if you were either the offensive coaching staff or even the general management if you had a backup plan to have been able to go to earlier rather than Daniel Jones. I realize that you're trying to sell on the contract that you gave him, but I'm going to go with Michael Penix Jr., who really was impressive now that he's prior to being sent to purgatory, that is behind Kirk Cousins. I'm going to go with Michael Penix Jr., still a backup, but a backup with an easier path to start.
Okay. Neil?
I have this written down so you can prove that I was right. I was going to pick Penix as well.
All right.
I think they should have got a. Yeah, I agree with you in the whole. They knew what they had quarterback wise. Why not upgrade? You got a great opportunity. Obviously, I'm worried his ability to be coached properly, but otherwise, from a talent perspective, I say Penix.
All right. At 7, you have the Titans. I believe they drafted J.C. Latham.
They did.
Who would you redraft with, Phil?
I'm going to stick with Latham. It makes too much sense. I mean, you got Will Levis, who you still want to invest in, who I think has still actually earned his way into a starting position for next year, as weird as that might have sounded if you looked at the first 3 weeks of the season. I'm going to stick with J.C. Latham, and it just makes too much sense.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, it's an offensive tackle one way or the other, so Latham's there. Yep.
Oh, wait, Neil, I was going to say, you can't pick Latham.
Oh, so I'm going to pick...
I've got notes here, Neil.
I'm gonna mess up.
I know where you are.
I'm going to mess up with Fashanu. However you say his name from Penn State.
Not a bad pick.
Yeah. So that's what I would pick. You're right. Thank you for fact checking me.
And I know you like Will Levis. You say he's earned, and he hasn't earned crap to me. I'm not a Will Levis fan. I would have taken Penix here. I think Penix is a really good fit in Tennessee. This is who I would have put in. So at 7, I'm taking Penix. Let's go to 8. Falcons. They drafted Michael Penix. What do you got, Phil?
Look, they do not. If the one thing that the Falcons do not need is offensive additions here. I'm going somewhere on the defensive line. It's kind of hard to see where you want to go. I'm probably going to go somewhere along the lines of. Gosh, I'm going to go with Quinyon Mitchell. He's a cornerback out of Toledo that the Philadelphia Eagles picked. The rookie tandem that the Eagles have relied on this year has really come into form in the second half of this season. So I think that having the Falcons address even and make a stout secondary even that much more stout is somewhere where I'm going to go and feel like, especially since they don't have Michael Penix available to them. I think they wanted to go defense in this draft, but with how it looked prior to the draft of nobody really enticing you, I can see why they went Penix. In this one, they know what Quinyon Mitchell does. They know how he looks like in the NFL against NFL caliber talent. Let's go with Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback.
I like it. What do you got?
Is this
Falcons?
This Falcons. I have Latu. Go him. That's what I'm picking.
I have Latu.
Latu.
I'm only going fast because we're up against.
Yeah,
the
I have
Bears,
Latu also. I'm with you on that one. That was my pick. So we're right on. Number 9. Let's go a little quicker. So number 9, the Bears, second pick of the first round. They took Roma Dunze, which I think is a kind of a bust pick.
Yeah.
Who should they have taken?
I'm going to go Fashanu in mine. Offensive line.
You go Fashaga. I'm going to go Fawaja from the Saints from Oregon State.
See, and I'm going to get sexy. This is where I would have taken Marvin Harrison.
Why are you you know how the season plays out with 3 wide receivers. What are you doing, Ralph?
I'm getting sexy. That's all. I think
no.
That's a sexy
Put your
pick
clothes
to go
back
forward.
on.
Wow, that's true.
And
yeah.
last pick of the top 10. So the Vikings
It's super bright in
took
here.
J.J. McCarthy, which I think was a bad pick. But
Yes.
they took J.J. McCarthy. Who should they have taken, Neil?
I'm going to go all the way to round 2. The first running back picked, Jonathan Brooks.
Yeah.
I would have picked a running back.
Interesting. Phil?
They already have a injury-riddled player in Hawkinson that they wanted to wait to start the season. Brooks, I think, is a fine one, but they've taken this long to get to him. I think J.J. McCarthy's still fine. I think that you're looking. I guess you know what. Let me retract this. I'm going to go instead of J.J. McCarthy. I'm going to go Bo Nix because at least you hope that he doesn't get injured and everything else. But I like Bo Nix.
Yeah, and I would have taken Quinyon Mitchell. I think he would have been a really good fit here for the Vikings in the back, where I think they could use a little bit of help there. So I would have taken Quinyon Mitchell at the top at 10. So that's it. There's our redraft for the top 10. It changed up quite a bit, actually.
Yes,
So,
it did.
And it's funny to see how certain guys fell and certain guys you probably could have put into the top 10, like Brock Bowers maybe, or Braylon Allen, or guys that could have been in the top 10 that we didn't get in there, but really good players that have been, this season so far. Anyway, we're up against the break. When we come back, we'll do something.
The final segment.
The final segment on the Weekend Warriors on 1580, The Fanatic.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Live
You're
and
out.
local.
The GCU men's basketball squad is coming off their winningest season in 35 years, their 3rd trip to the NCAA tournament in 4 years, and their first ever NCAA tournament
more
victory.
fantasy
Returning
stuff
4
if
of their
you
5
want to
starters
use it.
in
You
Ray
certainly don't
Harrison,
have to,
Callan
but
Moore,
if
Duke
we need
Brennan,
to
and
go
reigning WAC Player of the Year Tyon Grant Foster. The Lopes look to defend their WAC titles and make a run to the Sweet 16. With
have
a
more of the
non-conference
fantasy
slate
questions. I
including
have 2 more for
Stanford,
you to do,
Georgia,
but I
and
can do
crosstown
just
rival
the fun
Arizona
ones,
State. You won't want to miss a moment of the action.
want to
So
use
join
them,
me,
but
Michael
apparently
Potter,
don't.
and Lopes
Okay.
Insider
What we're
Paul
gonna do real
Corral
quick is
all season long, right
the
here
4
on the home of
games
the
that
Lopes.
we have left to
1580
pick,
The
I'm just gonna
Fanatic.
say the names.
Lopes up.
We're going to run right through them.
Let's face it,
All right,
winter
just so we
can be
have
a
them on
hard
the record,
season. It's
and
cold
then you guys
pretty
do whatever
much
you
all the
want.
time.
Yeah.
Blizzard,
I
have to
just wanna
shovel.
make some comments
Another
about the
blizzard. You slip on
people
ice.
using some red area
But you know what
instead
makes
of
winter
red
suck
zone?
a
And then we
little
can finish
less?
the fantasy,
Getting a
and
free
then we'll finish
phone.
the fantasy.
Join Cricket Nation and get a
was good.
free Samsung Galaxy A15 5G. Ooh, ouch. Welcome to enjoying more. Welcome to Cricket Nation. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. Must open a new line on the $60 unlimited plan. First month service charge and tax due at sale. Fees, terms, and other restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Now open in Scottsdale. It's United Porte Custom Door Showroom with 40,000 Euro doors and hundreds of state-of-the-art designs and finishes on display. Plus kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and more. All at wholesale prices. Builders, contractors, designers, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Porte, P-O-R-T-E. Stop by to see and feel the quality. United Porte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's UPORTE.com.
As we plan for our retirement, there are 4 questions we need to ask ourselves or our retirement planning advisor. How much? How long? How safe? And what cost? Let's start with how much. That is, how much income we think we'll need each and every year for the rest of our lives, including all the activities we want to enjoy during our retirement, like travel, recreation, and entertainment. Plus the cost of housing, including repair and maintenance, taxes, insurance, and utilities, as well as the cost of health care, including expenses not covered by Medicare.
Enjoy safe, secure lifetime income of 5 to 9% for life, depending on age and deferral period, with no fee deductions and no annuitizing. Guarantees rely on the financial strength of the insurer, so let's compare free in Scottsdale. For more, visit IQannuity.com, IQannuity.com, IQannuity.com.
Will Shakespeare here. Back in my day, I invented over 1,700 slang words like swagger, bedazzled, and my personal favorite, besmirch. But even I have trouble understanding slang words like yeet or bougie or...
This is fire.
Actually, it is extremely smooth Shakespeare vodka.
Okay, boomer.
See what I mean? But there is one word that describes the pure quadruple distilled spirit crafted from an 8th century Polish recipe the first time you try it.
So lit.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Shakespeare vodka. So lit.
1580 The Fanatic.
You're live.
It's the Weekend Warriors on 1580 The Fanatic.
The greatest music video ever made.
It is, by far, ahead of its time.
Yes,
Ahead of its
absolutely.
time. All right, so last segment, I want to go through real quick. I just want to put them on record. We have four more picks. We're going to just get them on the record, and then we're going to go into some other stuff. So we have 4 games left here. They are Titans and Commanders. I've got the Commanders.
Commanders.
Okay, so we got 3 Commanders.
Keon's happy.
All right. Eagles, Ravens. I've got the Eagles.
Wow. Ravens.
Coin flip. Ravens.
You're both wrong.
Of course. I mean,
I can't wait to game that game on you.
Haha.
All right. Bills, Niners in the snow. I got the Bills.
Oh, Bills by so much.
Bills.
I don't like how you said that.
Bills.
And the last game we put on record is the Browns against the Broncos. I'm taking Broncos.
Broncos. That was excellent.
So we're all exactly the same, except I took the Eagles over the Ravens, and Phil, for some god-awful reason, took the Jets over Seattle.
What the Jets, Jets.
I'm a man of the people. I'm not a man of my own heart.
What people are these? These people need help.
The people that want to win money. That's who I'm for.
The pretty people.
Did you want me to play that clip from the Rams?
Right now, the Jets are -1.5. The line is moving. Who do you think's moving that?
That just means I'm going to put more money on the Seahawks.
Oh,
exactly
God.
right.
You poor man, and I do mean that financially.
So speaking of the NFL, here's something that I've noticed this season.
What have you noticed?
And I don't know if any of you have been paying attention. Okay, so let's start here for a second. Number one, Phil, I'll ask you this question.
Okay.
Define, if you're talking to somebody that doesn't know football very well, define the red zone to me. What is the red zone?
The 20 yards leading up to the end zone, and then, of course, the 10 yards in the end zone as well.
Okay, so that's the red zone.
On the opposing.
We have known this term for a long time. This term, by the way, is relatively recent in the history of the NFL. It was actually coined in 1982 by Joe Gibbs, the coach of the, at the time, Washington Redskins. And that term became in vogue forever.
Yeah.
Until this year. But only in the NFL. If you listen carefully to all of the broadcasts, okay, the commentators in the booth, and I even think some coaches, they are no longer referring to it as the red zone. They are calling it the red area. Listen carefully to the NFL broadcasts today, and I guarantee you're going to hear at least once somebody call it the red area instead of the red zone. Now,
have you heard this, Phil?
I can't. You know what?
I haven't. He told me this.
Yes.
I have not heard this, but it does remind me of something like whenever they read off rules of like now in overtime, and if the opponent gets into the red area. I think I remember that.
Okay. So, but literally, it's as if someone in the NFL brass sent out a memo to everybody and said, from this point forward, thou shalt call it the red area. No more mentioning the term red zone. Now, what's interesting is that I watched a lot of college football, which, by the way, there was a lot of fantastic college football yesterday.
Yeah, there was.
College football has not received that memo. They still say red zone, and it sounds natural. It sounds normal.
That's what it is.
But listen today to your local NFL broadcast, and I guarantee you're going to hear the term red area used. So here's my question.
Weird.
I did a little research on this, and I couldn't find any information that specifically stated why. Why do you think that is? Why would the NFL, and this happened, I think it was this year it started. Why would the NFL start calling it the red area?
I honestly don't have a clue. I really don't.
The only thing I can think of is possibly somebody owns a copyright to the red zone. It's kind of like Pat Riley owning the copyright to three-peat. Yeah. So maybe somebody got into a oh no by referring to it as the red zone one too many times, and then Joe Gibbs was like, hey, or his estate was like, hey, we own that phrase, and you're gonna have to pay us a nickel every time you say it.
Why NFL only and not in college?
Well, hold on a second here, Professor. Okay, I have a little knowledge in this area.
Oh, please.
Here's the problem: if Joe Gibbs waited this long to call copyright, it's too late. Once it becomes common use, and once that can be proven in court, you can't copyright stuff that's commonly used and available in the English language. Like you can't copyright the word the. Okay,
well,
as an example.
Okay, well, here's my question. But the NFL gives off its red zone channel, so I'm curious why they would undercut and undersell.
That was my exact
That's
question.
Now that's my suspicion. I think that it has something to do with the NFL Network and the Red Zone channel. I think that's why they want to separate them. But it's like, first of all, Okay, let's say that's the reason. Let's say that some brainiac in the NFL in New York City was like, well, we have the Red Zone channel. We want to make sure that brand is represented properly. So from now on, everybody in the NFL use the term red area when talking about what we used to call the red zone, because we don't want to dilute the brand of our channel. It's like, I guarantee you that was probably why it was happening. But here's the thing. Did anybody confuse those two beforehand? Before last year? No. You say red zone, you're talking about the red zone on the field. You say NFL red zone, oh yeah, I know about that. I don't think anybody was having any confusion or an identity crisis over it. But since we all know that the NFL doesn't care about its fans, and the NFL they just want to make as much money as possible regardless of the consequences, I guarantee you that was probably, I shouldn't say I guarantee, but I'm very confident that's probably why it has something to do with the NFL Red Zone for NFL Network.
Yeah, brainiacs exist everywhere, Neil. Look, Facebook decided to step away from being called Facebook entirely and just be called Meta. Twitter is now referred to as formerly known as Twitter and now X. I mean, sometimes these people just overthink the room. Who knows?
Agreed.
Yeah. So anyway, today when you're watching your favorite broadcast, listen for whenever they talk about the red zone, what we know traditionally as the red zone, they're going to say red area. And again, college football is not doing this. They're still calling it the red zone. I heard the term red zone a billion times. No one said red area. And by the way, side note, I don't know what it is about Tom Brady's voice. He annoys the hell out of me.
Is he your Tony Romo?
No, I love Tony Romo compared to this. His voice, I don't know what he just annoys me. And that's probably what I noticed the term red area. It's like, what is he talking about? But then I heard everybody else use it. So anyway, something to watch for. Okay. Aside from your favorite team, something to watch for or listen for in today's games.
All right. That is interesting. When you said that to me this morning, I was like, I didn't even realize that. So I'm going to listen this morning.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, Phil, give me another fantasy thing. We kind of like fantasy, Phil.
Yeah. How about this one, Ralph?
Oh, I love fantasy.
And we touched on this earlier.
Yeah, baby.
But which head coach, Ralph, do you prefer to coach Caleb and Dub Airs starting next year? Out of these three choices, Mike Vrabel. He's a former head coach of the Tennessee Titans, got them to the AFC Championship game in 2019, and the number 1 seed in the AFC in 2021. That's option 1. Mm-hmm. Option 2, and we talked about this, Ben Johnson, as the offensive coordinator of the Lions. He's attributed with the revival of Jared Goff and the Lions offense in 2023, with finishing the season 2nd in passing offense, 3rd in total offense, and 5th in both rushing offense and points per game. Not to mention the absolute bullying that they are putting the NFL through this season. Or option 3, random big-name college coach a la Lincoln Riley, Caleb's coach in college, Kirby Smart, if he's tired of going into 8 overtimes against Georgia Tech, or Lane Kiffin, whoever you want to pick.
You're giving him a pick'em for the third one?
A pick'em college head
coach pick.
Yeah, college specific.
All right.
I can't think of a college head coach that I would really want to coach him. I don't want Lincoln Riley coaching him. I have my own issues with Lincoln Riley.
He's too busy having a fantastic career at USC.
Yeah, so I'm passing on the college coach. I like Mike Vrabel a lot, but he's a defensive coach. I don't think he's going to give anything to a Caleb Williams at all. Will he make the Bears the best defensive team in the game? Probably. But then you're still going to have to go find yourself a really good offensive coordinator to work with Caleb Williams, so that makes no sense. Ben Johnson is the logical choice out of those three there, because he's done a great job with that Lion offense. Look what happened to Jared Goff's career since he's gotten there. He's 10 times better than he was. Not that he wasn't bad, but he wasn't great. He's a better quarterback today under Ben Johnson and his system.
Yeah,
I'm going to go. I think that's who you take. I mean, I don't think that's even a question. You're going to take Ben Johnson in that scenario.
Ralph, you know what I'm going to say, right? You're not wrong. I actually agree with you.
I know I'm not wrong. So we have some more text I want to jump to real quick.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Rich is on the text line saying, Atticus is spot on about Tom Brady's voice.
Hey, there's a listener.
Tom Brady, he sounds like it's really high pitched and whiny.
Yeah.
It's a extravaganza.
I know. I want to hear his voice crack. Jocularity.
So going back to Phil's question, so there's number 1 Rattlers fan is on the text line, and this is an interesting one.
All right.
Hey Ralph, I think you guys seem to be forgetting old school fiery John Gruden.
He's Barstool Sports.
Do you love football? Yeah, I feel like
I like Gruden.
Oh, I like Gruden, but I think he's kind of. I think he's sold out.
You think he's out?
He sold out when he went
Why
to Barstool.
is he out? Because of what happened?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Well,
Second chance.
okay. So personally, I think he got set up, right? So.
Oh yeah.
There was a vendetta against him, so he got run that way. But I think the fact that Gruden has gone to the dark side. He's gone to Barstool Sports. He's just cashing checks now. He's just printing money. Good for him. I do like him. I still think he is an entertaining human being to be around and to witness, but otherwise,
I think he has a lot to offer an NFL team. Aside from his emails.
Okay, so
I think he has a lot to
you
offer.
want John Gruden and Trevor Bauer on your team. Okay, I get it. Understood.
Sir Drives a Lot's on the text line. I'm not really sure I understand this. It says 38% Cardinals implied probability of winning at halftime.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, maybe they're saying that at halftime it'll be the lowest point for the Cardinals to win. I don't know.
I just don't see the Cardinals winning today.
Yeah,
I have a hard time. I was visualizing in my sensory deprivation chamber when I had my ayahuasca, and I wasn't seeing it either. So I don't know.
And on chat we have Blissful Hayes again saying Ben Johnson was an excellent Canadian sprinter.
Oh man, Ben Johnson in the Atlanta Olympics. Was that Atlanta? I forget when. Well, yeah, no, he's right. He's right. Ben Johnson. No, I think it may have been LA '84. Anyway, Ben Johnson, great sprinter.
I heard somebody put out the coach's name just to add to yours, Phil. Was the offensive coordinator of the Cardinals?
Oh my God!
And I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Is that Wake Martindale?
No,
no, that's
what's his name?
Wake Martindale. My wife was like, "Hey, Wake Martindale. He's kind of old to be a coach, isn't he?" Not the same one.
Not a coordinator.
All right.
And he's not even a good coach with Kyler. I mean, you're going to bring that guy over there?
I don't know, man.
Drew Petz, is it Petzing? Is that his name?
You're going to spend the rest of the segment looking up his name.
Drew Petzing, I think his name.
Cliff Kingsbury will get a first look before pincing.
I think that's a bad idea too, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I'm saying that he'll get a look before.
And thank you, Blissful Hayes, saying great show. Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, this was a good show, guys. A lot of good content. A lot of participation today, so I really appreciate you guys getting involved. It makes the show that much better.
We'll see you next week.
And Rich is on there saying, Rolf, was that a MAD reference? M-A-D-H reference.
Oh, well.
I don't know.
Let's figure it.
Hey, everybody, enjoy your day. If your team wins, awesome for you. If your team loses, well, you know it sucks to be you.
10.
It's not going to suck to be me today. I can guarantee you that. It's the Weekend Warriors Football Sunday right here on 1580. The